And welcome back to more Pikmin! So last time, we collected the remaining ship parts in the Forest of Hope. So this time we're returning to the impact site. So if you're not doing a deathless run of this game, the impact site is the #1 place to go if you're running low on Pikmin. There are pellets everywhere, and these might not even be the best way to get Pikmin, believe it or not. There's one more ship part to get, and this is the only area where you can't beat it in one day, because to my knowledge, there hasn't been any discovery in terms of speedrunning that lets you get both parts on day 1. Alright, so we need all 3 kinds of Pikmin if we want to collect all these pellets. This is an iridescent flint beetle. If you can land a direct hit, you will get a lot of pellets, and I think even nectar and some other goodies as well. In the original GameCube version, Pikmin would automatically start attacking them, which could be kind of annoying, especially when trying to navigate this, like, small hill here, or this ramp. And then all the Pikmin just start swarming the flint beetle. Typically I find this takes a couple trips anyway, because this ramp is so small. There are a couple of these, by the way. They don't have any ship parts or anything vital, but also are a good way for raising more Pikmin. Alright, there is this destructible wall here. By the way, in this big arena, more enemies will appear on subsequent days, starting, I think, either day 7 or day 8. So luckily we're here on day 6, so we don't have to worry about that. One enemy actually appears on odd-numbered days, and one appears on even-numbered days. So again, I'm not 100% sure when this cycle starts, but this is our main enemy of the impact site, the Pearly Clam Clamp. We are going to use bombs to fight it, or at least this first one. So it has a pearl, and we can use bombs to destroy the little shell around the pearl, and it takes 3 Pikmin to carry. We still have 1 bomb rock, so we're just gonna toss this one at this wall to make things a little bit easier. But that's the only one we can fight like this. Obviously the others are a little bit more precarious to fight, because they're in water. We can't just use bomb rocks. That yellow Pikmin just kind of ended up in the same group as the blue Pikmin, so I had to call them and then dismiss them again. I feel like that happens more in this game, like they disperse into more separate groups in sequels, while in this game they tend to clump up a little bit more. We'll collect the pearls a little bit later, but the intended way to fight the Pearly Clam Clamp is to toss Pikmin at it. It will start to try to eat the Pikmin, so you have to call them back. That was a really bad start, actually. These are a little bit scary to fight, because if your timing is off, or if a Pikmin gets stuck on the ship part or pearl, it will get chomped. So I would recommend using some level of caution. That was way too close, because one Pikmin wasn't really responding to the whistle. I would recommend also whistling a few times at it, just to be safe. But beyond that, these aren't too scary. Again, this makes the impact site a really good place to raise Pikmin, because most of the enemies here are relatively low threat. So this is a necessary ship part. It is... I found the positron generator. By combining batteries with solar cells, this machine can generate incredible amounts of electricity. What a timely find! Those instant space noodles will taste better heated up. There's still one more over here with the pearl, so let's try to get this as well. Using the same tactic as before, trying to be very careful. We have plenty of time to get everything here, by the way. I find this area really fun, actually, because it can be fun to try to collect everything, like get every pellet. And there are quite a few pellets, so it is actually a little bit of a challenge to get everything in one run. Obviously, pellets do replenish if you come back. So even if you've collected everything, and if you lose a lot of Pikmin, it is worth coming back here if you have extra days to try to build up your squad a little bit more. There are some pretty tough enemies later on, so if you aren't doing a deathless run, it's good to keep this in mind. I am taking this way too slowly, but I really don't want to lose Pikmin at the moment. Sometimes the Pikmin take longer to latch onto an object than others, so it's a little bit luck dependent. So there we go. So why are we collecting these pearls? Well, they drop 50 Pikmin, so it is definitely worthwhile to try to collect as many of them as possible. By the way, I meant to break down this wall, but I forgot. It's not really necessary, because the only items over here are the ship part, these 2 pellets, and the pearls. So it's really not necessary to break that. I might do it anyway if I have time. This doesn't waste too much time, though. So yeah, I'm curious to see what our final numbers are going to be. There's another stick over here that we should set these Pikmin to work on. Yeah, even though we don't need any more Pikmin, it's still fun to try to see how high we can make this number go. Because there are plenty of options for pellets, as you can see. Positron Generator. This electric generator is so powerful that if you approach it carelessly, you'll get an electric shock. I have now recovered 14 out of 30 parts. If I can find just 15 more, I should be able to increase my ship's capabilities. There are only 2 ship parts here, so we'll have to look elsewhere for the others. For the sake of prioritizing, I think I am going to get the big 20 pellet with the blues next. Because that'll take a little bit to get back. Actually, we'll take the reds, just to break down the wall for the sake of breaking it down. Like, have it, like, no stone unturned, basically. Even though it's very much not necessary to do this. I am dismissing them to pick up this blue, so I don't get to the end of the day missing a Pikmin. It is actually kind of easy to lose Pikmin because there's quite a bit of foliage in this map, and it can be easy to lose sight of certain Pikmin in that cardboard box as well. So yeah, be careful with that. Try to stay aware of where all the Pikmin are, so you can quickly retrieve them at the end of the day. This is also one of the things that is better on Wii, because once the wall gets broken down, we should be able to call them from the landing site, so we'll save some time there. Our main goal is red and blue Pikmin, but hey, might as well raise some more yellow Pikmin as well. Again, for 1 pellets, you do want to color coordinate it most of the time. I'm not really going to worry about that. But you will get an extra Pikmin if you do so. The pellets do cycle through, so there is a timing component for getting the right pellet. But again, not usually too essential. So like here, we would want to get a blue Pikmin to carry that back, in theory, if we were really concerned about raising Pikmin. Like here, this is kinda neat. We can actually toss this yellow Pikmin just straight over there. How's the wall coming along? It's done, so we can call all these Pikmin back. Another interesting thing is right here is a little stone. If we have the Pikmin attack it, it is actually a geyser. So, now with the geyser opened up to us, we are going to send all of our Pikmin up, or as many as we can, up this branch. Like so. And we're gonna take the geyser to the top. They can get stuck, like this yellow Pikmin here, but it's not too big of a deal. Again, for the sake of possibly getting extra Pikmin, I am going to try to color coordinate this a little bit. Again, not essential, but still nice to do. They do cycle in order, it seems, like yellow, or red, yellow, blue. So so that's good to keep in mind. So if you need to quickly cycle to a yellow Pikmin from a blue Pikmin, you have to cycle twice, as an example. Alright, so we've cleared out most of this area. Obviously, we missed out on the flint beetles, so we didn't get every pellet we possibly could have. But still, I don't remember what this number started at for our total, but it is much higher now, I guarantee it. I'll also be curious to see how the graph is looking by the end of this. I think we're going to be just shy of about 500 by the end of the day. We might even call the day a little bit early, because frankly there aren't any more pellets. But yeah, let's show this off. Yeah, the Pikmin not automatically attacking the flint beetles is really nice in the Wii version. There we go. So yeah, they drop, did it drop anything? Yeah, it dropped the 1 pellet. They drop nectar. I think it can drop like 5 pellets if you keep attacking it. There we go. And so on. So yeah, also a really good way to get pellets easily, like so. We got a lot of nectar as well, plenty to go around, so I might actually start putting Pikmin away, because we've gotten basically every pellet. So for the sake of also roll call, I might start putting Pikmin away, and then calling them out in groups to try to give them the nectar. So, for example, we need roughly like 80 to 100 blue Pikmin for something coming up soon. So, I am going to put away all the other Pikmin and take out all blue Pikmin and try to give them nectar. And then I'll go with the red Pikmin because they're the next most used, I would say, because they're the combat ones, and also the fireproof ones. All yellow Pikmin are mostly just for, like, certain very specific situations, so not as necessary to have them all flower Pikmin, but it would be nice for one thing. So yeah, that is a full squad, except one, of flower Pikmin. It's not really worth using a drop of nectar on 1 blue Pikmin, so I'll say that's good enough. So next up is the red Pikmin. I do find the blue Pikmin generally have the most niche uses, because a lot of things that the red Pikmin can do, the blue Pikmin can do too, except fire. Blue Pikmin and yellow Pikmin can fight, it's just maybe less than ideal. And yeah, yellow Pikmin typically are just for collecting high-up ship parts or pellets, so I'd say they have the least uses, but that does change in Pikmin 2 and 3 a little bit. So yeah, swarm them all up, and then see how many we can power up here. And so 1 drop of nectar is in a really bad spot, because it's hard to swarm into the nectar without hitting the branch. And there should also be another patch of nectar, though. There. Alright, so we have 100, well, okay, like, I want to say like 99 or 98 flowered red Pikmin. So for the yellow Pikmin, I'm actually only going to go with about 30. Hypothetically, if we have 30 flower yellow Pikmin, I might bring out some more. By the way, it's also worth noting that Pikmin will come out of the onion in order of flower, bud, leaf. So actually having more yellow Pikmin than actually need flowered would be good, in case some lose their flowers, and that way there are more flower Pikmin in reserve, basically. So yeah, I am actually going to do this. But yeah, there is an order to it. So yeah, the flower Pikmin come out of the onion first, which is great. Alright, so let's swarm. That wasn't great because the cursor got stuck on the edge of the screen. But that was still like 25 additional flowered yellow Pikmin. So yeah, pretty good. Reiterating, if you need more Pikmin, just stop by the impact site. Like, so far we have almost double the ship parts in comparison to the number of days. So you have plenty of time to come back here and restock if you need to. Hopefully it won't be necessary. In my case, I just reset the day if something goes wrong. But yeah, if you are playing with allowing Pikmin to die, this is arguably a good way to restock. This is another one of those cases where the day's almost over, but I might as well save some time. Six days since impact. I have seen that at times the leaf atop a Pikmin's head will grow into a bud and then a flower. It appears that if I do not pick the Pikmin sprouts, they gradually bloom over time. Fascinating. This melding of plant and animal traits is surely unique in the natural world. I have found flower Pikmin to possess increased swiftness. When in a rush, I found pressing and holding A, then calling the flower Pikmin forth with the D-pad to be quite an effective strategy. I've also learned that new sprouts found growing on days following fierce battles are the result of seeds being left behind. So basically, if a flower Pikmin dies in battle, it will leave a seed, so you basically kind of don't lose a Pikmin, because it just gives you a new one back. So we raised 230 Pikmin, that's really good, so we effectively almost doubled the amount of Pikmin we had. 16 parts remaining and 24 days remaining, so we're doing really well so far. And with that, we have reached the end of day 6. So 2 areas down and 2 to go. Instead of starting the distant spring, I think we will return to the Forest Navel next time, and collect the remaining few parts there. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin.